Hi and welcome to all the racing lovers out there and all the punters, owners, trainers, jockeys, whoever may be watching this pre-recorded show. We are recording on Thursday, so early doors Thursday morning for the Friday meeting at Hollywoodbets Greyville. It's a turf and poly meeting, so take note, some are on the turf, some are on the poly, and the commencement will be 15:35, the first race on the turf over 1800 meters. Now, kicking off the batting, the favourite is number 3, which is Flying Hafler. From even money is now 8 to 10. No scratchings at this point in time. Number 2, Art Nouveau has gone 33 to 10. And then you can take 6 to 1 about number 5, Hurricane Flight. Now, I'm afraid we can't get too creative in race number 1, which is the opening leg of the bipot. A small field of 8 runners go down to the post. And when you look at the field at face value, numbers 2 and 3 look to have the right sort of form. Number 3, Flying Hafler, we'll make that our first selection from the powerful Mike de Kock stable. They've settled into KwaZulu-Natal exceptionally well, and their horses are doing it for them on the track. They're bringing their runners to the course as is expected in tip-top condition. And this horse had the one run here, which was in October, on the 6th of October. That was on the turf, went fourth behind Warrior Royale. There has been a winner out of the form line already, so the form line has been franked. And prior to that, a third and a fourth up in Gauteng. And we all know the maidens usually a length or 2 superior with the Gauteng form lines. Well drawn at 3, and this filly, all things being equal, no problems. The 1800, she's been there, she's done that, sets the standard. Then the other runner with similar form, number 2, Art Nouveau. Now the money plunged onto this daughter of Karari last time out when trying the 1700. The stable expected her to win on that occasion, but just seemed to stay on late on behind Sasha's Dream. She's going to be the second selection, but we're going to bank a number 3, Flying Hafler, in the opening leg of the bipot, followed by number 2, Art Nouveau, and then you go with numbers 4, Joan the Wad, and even a horse like number 5, Hurricane Flight. They all bring some fair placings into the race, a race which won't take a lot of winning. So number 3, Flying Hafler, although very sharp in the betting at 8 to 10, should be very tough to beat in race number 1 at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Next up will be race number 2 as we step on the gas and move into the place accumulator zone. So 16:10 is the time you'll need to have your bets locked and loaded. Looking at the betting, number 5, Perilla, is the favourite, and that is currently at 22 to 10, from 28 to 10. Number 3, Simple, 4 to 1, now 33 to 10. Number 1, The Ghost, is 9 to 2, with number 7, Little Black Velvet. Number 8, African Beat, at 7 to 1. And number 2, Get in the Queue, around about 8 to 1. Let's kick off with Get in the Queue number 2, because this is one of my each-way selections on the day. And trading at around 8 to 1. A little bit of caution because she's never been the 1400 meters before. She's lethal over 1000 meters, and she has won over 1200 meters. When you look at Get in the Queue, she's a 4-time winner. All 4 victories have come on the turf, and she's a horse who's going to take some beating, I believe, if she stays the 1400. She's got the draw, and I think everything could fall into place for this individual. She's got more than enough ability to beat a field of this nature. The question mark is the 1400. If it was 1200, I'd say let's put and take, but hopefully she gets a soft lead or there's not a hot tempo on, and I think you can probably Get in the Queue with number 2. Looking past that individual, number 1, The Ghost, fair post maiden run when 5th behind Chelsea Flower, so a horse that could still show quite a bit of improvement. And then you got horses like number 3, Simple, close up 4th behind Russian Doll. That was in a 96 handicap last time out, so is dropping down in class. Get in the Queue ran in a 100 last time out, a 94 prior to that in the poinsettia. So I'm going to stick with number 2, Get in the Queue, and then you got 1 or 2 horses who will be looking to up their game. Simple, after that 4th to Russian Doll, although well beaten by Perilla in the prior runs, I think it's going to get a little bit closer here. And then the joker in the pack could be number 4, Mauritania, who was scratched the other day, TCO2 levels. So perhaps number 4, Mauritania at a big price, thrown to your swingers and exactors. And then who cannot talk about number 5, Perilla? Dennis Bosch has got her in the pink of health. She's looking for the treble. She's gone up to a 92, but that's where Rachel Benica comes in. She takes the 1.5 kilograms off the back, and that could just seal the deal. So race number 2, get in the queue. If she sees out the 1400 and the race maps out for her, I think 8 to 1 and 10 to 1, that's the right price. As we move on to the all-important Pick 6, so for the Pick 6 lovers out there, no doubt you'll have your numbers in. You would have done it on the phone, online, or you would have taken it at your local tote. So race number 3 at 16:45, the distance is 1,000 meters. Number 3, Master Bling, is your marginal 28 to 10 favorite. The grey number 5, Professor Lupin, after a victory and a close-up second, 3 to 1. Number 4, Mask On. Number 8, 21 May. They're both trading at 5 to 1, and then you can get 6 to 1 and better the field. Now, what's quite apparent to see and very easy to identify is the Allison Wright stable hold a very strong hand here. They've come with numbers. They've got about half the field here. Number 3, Master Bling, is going to be my narrow first selection. 54.5 kilograms on his back. He has been taking on slightly weaker, and he has been winning. So he's gone up from a 53. He's now running off a 69. But he continues to win, and then that second to Professor Lupin brings him heavily into the play. 3 of his wins have come on the poly, but the 1,000 meters here at Hollywoodbets Greyville on the turf, I think he's a huge runner. Number 5, Professor Lupin, he's found his form. He did beat Master Bling in the penultimate run with Rachel Benica aboard. And then last time he moved up, he looked a winner. However, Stars in Heaven had other ideas and came to mow down the grey Professor Lupin short of the post. When you look at other runners, number 7, Intrepid, if this fella brings his A-game to the track, he could be quite dangerous with Atendiwe Mgutwa. And you'll notice that I'll be following Atendiwe Mgutwa in a couple of races. So keep a very close eye on this individual. So, the Allison Wright stable versus the Garth Puller outfit, and then you throw in a horse like number 4, Mask On, with the 4 kgs off the back, another runner that comes heavily into the play. So putting me in a corner, number 3, Master Bling, but if I had to give you a mark out of 10, I'd probably go a 7, because it's quite an open looking affair. So number 3, Master Bling, will be my first selection. However, all 8 runners have some appeal in this contest. First leg of the first jackpot, race number 4, 1,100 meters, so it's the in-between distance, 17:20 as we go into the latter part of the afternoon, into the evening, 17:20, 1,100 meters. Odds-on favourite is number 1, Blowing in the Wind, Atendiwe Mgutwa for Allison Wright. And I mentioned we're going to be following the stable and Atendiwe Mgutwa throughout the meeting. And if Atendiwe has a good day, we end up with a good day. Blowing in the Wind, 3 seconds in a row, second to a Yui Yui, second to Hurricane Cat, and second to Hot Lava. A horse who's built with the natural speed. And from that number 1 draw, we switch on to the poly. The first 3 races are on the turf. We now switch to the poly. And Blowing in the Wind's penultimate run was on the poly track over 1,000 meters when beaten by Hurricane Cat. In this type of field, let's have a look at the field. Not too much to get excited about. Number 3, Chak Pori's improving, there or thereabouts. And then number 8, Shunka Waka. This could be the fly in the ointment. So throw in number 8. But number 1, Blowing in the Wind, looks to be a potential banker in all the bets and one of the best bets on the card. So we're going to be confident. Race 4, number 1, Blowing in the Wind, Atendiwe Mgutwa for Allison Wright. We're going to hope that this individual goes barrier to box. Welcome back for race number 5 as we move into the second half of the program. The first 4 races will be behind us. Hopefully you're in the pound seats and you got the money to play for free for the remainder of the evening. 17:55, so it'll be time for the lights to come on and the night racing to kick in. 1400 meters. And just taking a look at the betting, number 5, Twilight Bays. Had the 3 runs to date and is currently trading at 15-10. Number 4, Miss Mayfly. Career best went second to Glamour's last time out. Is the second favourite at 33-10. And then we have number 6, Yellow Jacket at 4-1. 9-2, number 3, Takatelvi. And then you can take 7-1 and upwards the rest. When it comes to selections, well, quite a tricky one here. Let's have a look. Twilight Bay, number 5. The form line's been franked. A horse who's going to try a set of blinkers. And I think dropping back to the 1400, that could be the winning recipe. Puts the hooves onto the poly track for the first time. But the Mike Miller team and Tristan Godden, they're riding a crest of a wave. They're having their winners. The stable's ticking along exceptionally well. And we'll tip number 5, Twilight Bay. Ran 5th last time out after leading in the mile. That's why I think it could be the right move to bring this daughter of Patala Palace back to the 1400. Has the gate speed and will be the first selection. Saying that, number 6, Yellow Jacket. Another runner that they've experimented a few things with. They've tried over 1950. Dropped back to 1400. They even tried a 1200 in the penultimate run, and then last time back to a 1700 when second to Sasha's Dream. I think the 1400 ideal, and another runner who likes to press forward. Number 3, Takatelvi, also likes to be up with the speed, so I think we could get a genuine run race in race number 5. When it comes to the selections, number 5, Twilight Bay. Race 5, number 5, draw 5, hopefully in the number 1 box when it counts. As we move along into the territory of race number 6, which is due off at 18:30, and this will be run over a distance of 1400 meters. And when it comes down to the betting department, number 4, Kimberly O'Hara is your current 5-2 favourite, setting the standard. Number 5, Joshua Hot Snake at 7-2. After Joshua Hot Snake, the next runner is 9-2, and that's number 8, Andy Kugel. Number 6, Salt and Pepper 5-1. Number 1, Lucky Dollars generously priced up at 6-1. So number 1, Lucky Dollar at around 6-1, a little bit of an each-way bet there. However, I've made one of my each-way selections and value bets on the day, the long shot, number 2, Lord Wiley, 16 and 20-1. Here's a horse who's just been off form recently, but has come down to a 77 in the ratings. The Wendy Whitehead stable, they hold a strong hand here. They've also got Joshua Hot Snake, but I want to be in the camp of the 7-year-old Lord Wiley. It's been 324 days until this individual last tasted victory. But when it comes down to the course and distance, 5 runs, 2 wins. 4 of the 7 wins have come over the distance, and 2 of those have been at the course. Absolutely loves the poly track, no problem with the poly track. So here's a horse at around 16 and 20-1 that I'd say have a small little each way go. And if the right Lord Wiley rocks up on the day, this could be the one to cause a major stir at big odds. Number 1, Lucky Dollar is going to be my second selection. A horse who comes with some inspiring form and has also been taken on stronger lately. 88s, 84s, and the 80s behind Master of Destiny, El Dante, and Shoefella. And when it comes to the claim, the 1.5 kilograms off, for Rachel Venica, that brings number 1, Lucky Dollar, right into it. It was dropped a point for that last run, and that's the biggest danger. So between numbers 1 and 2, that's where I believe the winner will come from. Number 4, Kimberly O'Hara, fresh off a victory. will be looking to go in again. In fact, has won 2 of the last 3 runs. A horse who is rising, only went up to a 71, so still running off a very competitive mark. And as we mentioned, Tristan Godden and the Mike Miller stable, they're firing up a storm at the moment, and it would be very, very foolish to ignore. Number 3, Kumamore. The interesting thing here, Mxolisa Mbuto takes the 4 kgs off, coming off a bleed, so will race fresh. And we know those bleeders, first run back racing fresh, they usually put up their best effort. So throw number 3, Kumamore, into each and every bet. Number 8, Angie Kugel, a horse who's got some fair form when it comes down to the quartets. But my value in the race, number 2, Lord Wiley. I believe this is a horse that you won't get burnt, not genuine. He's been off the boil recently, but I'm hoping that the 7-year-old is going to bounce back to form. If not, number 1, Lucky Dollar. Time for punters to get ready for races 7 and 8. If you're looking to play the last double on the card at Hollywoodbets Greyville, races 7 and 8 both on the poly, the first 3 on the turf, and the remainder of the meeting on the poly track. When we dissect the form and we look at the runners in race number 7, my first selection is going to be the horse who absolutely becomes lethal here, number 4, Hippocrates. If you look at the course and distance record and the poly form, it stands out like a sore thumb. Along with number 1, Purple Powerhouse, another course and distance specialist who absolutely floats on the poly track, and an 8-year-old. So this is quite an interesting race because number 1's an 8-year-old, number 2's an 8-year-old, Hippocrates is a 6-year-old, and then you've got the 4 and the 5-year-olds in between. So you're going to have to make up your mind here. Are you going to be with the Hollywood Syndicate, who are looking for their 600th winner, and number 1, Purple Powerhouse? He'll have a lot of supporters with 53.5 kilograms on his back. 3 of the wins have been achieved course and distance, and boy oh boy, look at that CV. He doesn't know how to run a bad race. In fact, in his last 10 or 12 runs, you say a bad run, he finished 7th, 2.3 lengths behind Brass Bell, who came out and franked the form. So the other meeting at Greyville, the last meeting, the grey Brass Bell came through and franked the form. And the 8-year-old Evergreen Purple Powerhouse, he'll be looking to give them the knockout blow. But I'm going to go number 4, Hippocrates, after beating Stevie G very, very comfortably. A horse who's a 6-time winner. And all 6 of those victories have been achieved on the surface, and 4 of those have been course and distance. So putting me in a corner, I'm going number 4, Hippocrates, to get back into the winner's queue at the expense of number 1, Purple Powerhouse. And then the joker in the pack, I say the joker in the pack, number 3, Future Flow. Took an eternity to win the maiden, but these are the type of horses that can come to the fore and get some real confidence from the win. And from 5 to 1, the early money is down 7 to 2. So Future Flow has found the support. Rachel Benica takes the weight off his back, and off a 70, minus the 1.5, 57 kilograms, although taking on some 6 and 8-time winners. Future Flow could just have a little bit more left in the legs when it comes down to that department, and will be my 3rd pick. But when it comes down to the crunch, number 4, Hippocrates, that is going to be the horse that I believe they all have to set their sights on. Welcome back for the lucky last, as they say, the final hurdle, which is race number 8, the Hollywoodbets Bright Future. It'll be run over 1,900 meters, so they'll be stretching them here, a 72 handicap. And I'm afraid to say, when it comes down to giving an outright selection, this is one of those races where you're either going to take a stance of going light, or you're going to have to go with the field here. And I'm afraid to say I'm looking to go the field, and I'm looking to beat the top 2 in the betting. I'm looking to beat number 3, Fine Admiral, and also number 5, Off Limits, who both priced up joint at 7 to 2. Number 8, Bomb Bombs around 4 to 1, and number 7, Porfirio at 9 to 2. Number 2, the Mikado is shortened 6 to 1, down 5 to 1, and then it's 8 to 1, and better the rest. Now, let's have a look here. Race number 8, what we have in front of us. First selection, I'm going to probably go number 8, Bomb Bomb, from the Wendy Whitehead stable. And I mentioned earlier on Atundiwe Mguto, we're following him throughout the card. And Bomb Bomb, around about 4-1, came back to the better form last time, went second to Zoom Bomber, and Zoom Bomber's come out and run some crackers after that. He's done well. So certainly number 8, Bomb Bomb, if getting lucky from that draw, steps up to a distance of 1900, and if appreciating the trip, could end up in the winner's enclosure. But by no means a foregone conclusion. There's a lot waiting in the wings there. 4 or 5 runners, they're going to be snapping at the heels. And one of those is number 6, Tom's Act, 10-1. That could be the value in the play. Short in front last time out. Penultimate run, lost 2 lengths when the starter said go. However, a 5-time winner. All 5 wins on the poly. 2 of those course and distance. 65 rating, minus the 1.5 kilograms of Rachel Venica. So ultimately has 55 kilograms to shoulder. And I think at 10-1, this could end up being the value in the race. So although number 8, Bomb Bomb, putting him in a corner, will be the first selection, I think the value lies with number 6, Tom's Act. He's going to be a horse that goes down to the start. He gets his customary warm-up. But he's a horse who can read and write. He's now a 6-year-old son of active war. He'll be having his 28th run, and this could be win number 6. The Doug Campbell stable have done an outstanding job with him. He's a horse who, clear to see, comes with a lot of issues. Short, not striding, lost 2 lengths, short, not striding. So when Tom's Act arrives in a good mood and he's feeling 100%, you go back in his form and he wins. He's a 5-time winner, and like I said, the poly, he's a poly specialist. So 10-1, the value's there. And just looking at those last 2 runs, well beaten, but like I mentioned, lost 2 lengths, short in front, so it does come with the excuses. Prior to that was a Victor beating Blazing Light, and then earlier on beat San Marzano and Mr. Maloney. So horse who's got the ability, and if feeling good on the day, at 10-1 could be the value. Now I said I'm looking to beat the top 2 in the betting, number 3, Fine Admiral, and number 5, Off Limits. Not saying they can't win, they've got as good a chance as any, but I'm just looking to take them on as far as the win goes. I believe at the price of 7-2, if you want to have a bet on them, good luck to you. I'm not saying they can't win, but I'm looking to go against number 3, Fine Admiral, and number 5, Off Limits, the filly. They're both 2- and 3-time winners respectively, so they have got the ability to win this, but I am going to go against them. The interesting and improving horse is going to be number 2, the Mikado. Last time out was reported coughing 23 days ago. And the Frank Robinson stable, they're in mustard form at the moment. So a horse that could be very, very competitive, and he's capable of winning a race like this if showing his best side. Number 4, Flying Cool. Let's have a look at this individual. Post maiden, 3.5 lengths and just under 7 lengths behind. Let's look for some improvement, dropping down to a 73 in the ratings. And then number 7, Porfirio, is worth a mention. A horse who never runs a bad race. So one of those horses who enjoys the poly. For me, the question mark is the distance. Has been 1,700 before when finishing 3rd to a few dollars more. And funny enough, that came through the last meeting to win. So the form line there's been franked and did run behind Zoom Bomber. So it'll be interesting. The blinkers come off, go the 1,900 meter trip, and you're going to have to be the judge whether or not this horse is going to find the 1,900, testing the unknown territory for the first time, in his favour or against him. But only the race is going to tell, and it'll be quite interesting about number 7, Porfirio. But when it comes down to the selections, the Wendy Whitehead stable, number 8, Bomb Bomb, I'm going to put this one up in the number 1 frame as my first selection, number 8. For second, I'm going to go number 6, Tom's Act. The third spot, I'm going to throw in number 7, Porfirio. And in the fourth spot, I'm afraid, let's go the field for the 4th. I've given you my top 3 selections. Hopefully they'll come home, maybe in that order, and then you get a rough result for that 4th position for the quartets. That's a look at race number 8 on the poly over 1,900 meters. time for the business of the day. I've got 2 suggested bets which will be brought on screen shortly, and I've gone 2 each way bets. Some value about both of these runners, and hopefully they can do it for us on the track. So let's kick off with race 2, number 2, Get in the Queue, at around about 8 to 1. She's got the ability. First time over the 1400 meter trip. As I mentioned earlier on in the race by race preview, had it been a 1200, I would have said let's put and take and have a serious strike. The 1400, they're testing uncharted waters, but I think she's a horse that if things map out for her, she runs against some decent opposition. She's a 4-time winner, all 4 wins on the turf. I think she's a huge player. And then my dog for the day, I say a dog for the day, Lord Wiley at the price. This is my roughie, and I believe this is a horse who could cause a serious stir. A 7-time winner, a 7-year-old, 2 wins on the poly, which have been achieved course and distance. And from that number 2 draw has dropped down to a 77 in the ratings. And although the stable companion number 5, Joshua Hot Snake, is a lot more fancied in the betting and has the better form, I think the Wendy Whitehead stable are going to have an absolute cracker of a race. And I'm going to go with the biggest priced run at around 16 and 20 to 1 with number 2, Lord Wiley. So those are my 2 each way suggested bets for the day. And all I can say is let's hope the horses play ball and they come through and run accordingly.